Okay, so I'm gonna do a short video to try to illustrate all the issues that need to be modified for this character to be G2 compatible. And some of them are similar to Mike Head's, and some of them because Mike Head had no face, this is brand new to you. So I will try to quickly go over everything and see if we can get things going in the right direction. The first thing is to make sure that all of these items are labeled as a movie clip, because right now I'm sorry, hold on one second. If I break them over, as you can see, they're still labeled graphics. You know, it looks like the face so far is what you modified as a movie clip for the 0 degree angle, but I need them done for every single body part related to the character in all the views. But I'm going to slide this out the way and just kind of go over some of the things that would need to be corrected. Just looking at the side view angle, a while back, and you have to excuse me, I have a code. A while back, we talked about how for Crazytalk Animator, you don't need to add this perspective look right here, because when you import the character in, it automatically does that view. So in this case, you want the foot, the leg, and the thigh to all be right up on each other. You want them all even so that they look just like this. And the other thing that you would need to do is, you're only for your side view, the rest of them are fine. You have two parts that makes up the foot. You have this front part and this back part. They would need to be grouped together, and then make sure that you label it as a movie clip. So align the legs so that they're right on top of each other, and then make sure for both of the foots that both parts are joined together so that they're one item. And I won't really modify this too much. I don't want to mess up your artwork or your positions on your feed. I'm just kind of giving examples. The next thing is, this software is limited to the amount of things you can do. So when you get to his upper torso, it can only be labeled one item, which is the upper torso. So when you have a chain, you have to put it and group them together so that it's one item, so that it looks like this instead. And again, it kind of goes back to some of the lists that I provided the last time. I think I may have automatically grouped Mike Head stuff together and didn't really tell you that part, but every body part has to be assigned to something for Crazytalk Animator to work. So when you get to your arms, the stuff like the watch, you either have to assign it to the forearm or you have to group it with the hand. Now, I personally think you should group it to the forearm, but they have to be together as one solid piece, and then, of course, labeled a movie clip in order for it to work correctly. So when you're going back over and regrouping your body part items, keep that in mind that there's an upper torso, there's a lower torso, you have your thighs, your legs, and your foot. So all of that's great, And you may or may not want to put them on different layers, meaning I'm just going to move this to the top because this is where all your current artwork is at. So you might just want to just put all your feet on one layer for right now. And what that is, it kind of makes it easy, excuse me, when you're looking for, when you're trying to swap out different pieces or you're just trying to isolate a certain piece. I'm sorry, now I can just isolate the foot. Or if I wanted to just work on nothing but the foot, I can easily do it. And I won't have to worry about me accidentally clicking the legs or the thighs or any other body part. So it's not something you have to do. I recommend it, but you don't have to do that piece. It just makes the flow process much easier when I'm trying to group them out. So let's go into the piece that will actually require the most work, and that's going to be inside the face. So what I was stating earlier is to have them all layered out on your main timeline. This is the main timeline. So, you know, having your eyes, nose, mouth, the face, and let's see, eyebrows. On the main timeline. And the reason why is when you get to this symbol here, I see you have combined the jawbone and the mouth together. But see, when I double click in it, they're still on two separate layers. And I don't know how well Crazytalk will treat that. It may be just fine. Once I import them in, I'll let you know. I know the last time with the rings that was on the hands, when I imported them in, for some reason, only the hands showed up and the rings didn't. And we had to go through and make modifications to get them both to pop up. So that was my only concern is, you know, having them merged in makes it easier for it to import. Now, looking at the mouth, as I was explaining to you, in order for the lip sync to work, meaning in order for him to talk, there's a certain amount of sprites that needs to be in there, and it has to be in the exact order that I provided you. And that's, if you look at the template, see how his mouth is all on one layer. And I believe the speech sprites start at, yes, it starts on 22 and it ends on 30. And it's all of these, so it's the normal, the R, O, E, you know, etc. And it has to be in that order, or when it gets into the software, it will not talk correctly. Wow, I did some major stuff here. I have no idea what I just did, but we just move that stuff out the way. So when we get to 22, I need all of these, the rest of these items to be in that order. Now, when I look at yours, it's a couple of them. Well, we don't really need these here. You can remove those frames. This one is not assigned a mouth sprite. I believe that's 20. It's either 26 or 27, and that should be the woo sprite, you would need to either draw a sprite, a mouth, expression for this sound, or if you wanted to have the exact same sound as the U, which I didn't even press that, but if you wanted to have the exact same sound as the U, you need to duplicate that same um, sprite, that same frame in frame 27, so that I know when I get to it, they're the same expression, but they're going to be labeled. One is going to be labeled U, and one of them's going to be labeled Woo. Have no issues if that's what you want to do, but it needs to be clear so when I get into it, I'm not stopping trying to figure out, what piece should I put right here in this for this expression. Um, okay, so you put all the hands in just, it looks like in just this section, which is fine. I believe I can take this whole thing and just flip it, and that will be the other view. I will have to let you know. I know sometimes when rotating, some of them need to be swapped out to make the rotation more realistic, but I haven't had a chance to go into each hand sprite at each angle to make sure they match up and make sense, but I'm going to leave that alone for right now. So, like I said, grouping the chain together with the upper torso, and yeah, you're going to have to do it for each of your angles. And then, of course, move the layer into its right point again. Now, getting into the face, I'm just going to hide the shades for right now. When it comes down to the eyes, you still have a nice big chunk of it that's really a part of the face, and usually the face is just one solid piece, and when you get to the eyes, it's just this portion of the eye that's showing. And I'm going to go back to the facial template to show you what I'm talking about. It's just this part that's showing that makes up the eye. And when you drill down into it, you have to have these three levels: image, pupil, and mask. And it has to be in this same order. And basically, the image layer is, let me hide each one so you understand. This is the image layer. It's basically the white part of the eye and part of the eyelid. The pupil is just that, just the pupil. And the mask that it shows that you wanted to see is just the eyeball area. And the reason why you only want that showing is because once it gets in Crazytalk Animator, you want just the pupil moving around within the eyeball. You don't want it to go outside of that frame. So that locks it all together. But it has to be assembled just like this, with the mask and pupil layer locked and the mask turned on. So you need those three layers just like that. And you can refer back to the face template that I sent over. But when you drill down, because here's all the different eye expressions, and once again, like I said, they go all in a row on the on that eye layer. It goes, each frame is a different eye. For you just need 1 and 2, eye open, eye closed, for your particular character, because he's got shades on, and apparently whenever you don't want his shades on and you want to just see his face, those are the basic 2 eye expressions you would need to have him move around, I mean not move around, but look around um, the room. So two frames, 1 and 2, eyes open, eyes closed, and for the normal eyes open state, when you drill in 3 layers: mask, pupil, and image. And just refer back to the template, and it will have all the details of how you need to set it up there. Let me know if you have any problems with this one, because in the beginning, when I was first learning how to do characters, that was probably the most tricky part for me until I really understood the concept. Um, so that takes care of your eyes. Just eyebrows look great. 1, 2, 3. I clearly understand what they mean. That's fine. Nose is fine. Okay, so for this piece, this to me will count as your face. And you can have your hair and ears and everything all together if you like. I have no problems with that. You may want to have this part colored in so that it's all solid. That way, if when moving a character to the extreme right or left of the screen, you don't see parts of this starting to show, because it does happen from time to time. And if you need me to show an example of that, I can do a video where you can see if you put a character right in the far left or right corner. Crazytalk Animators is designed to have those body parts slowly shift, and so I'm concerned that parts of this white will show. And if this is the case with this being the face, that means you don't have to have a separate sprite for just the hair. It will all be one piece, no problem. My concern is you still have a part of the sideburn separately, and that has to either be combined with the face. Yeah, actually it does. It has to be combined with the face, because you already have the ears and everything that's making up the face. So make sure that you don't forget this one piece and combine it with the face, and that will make everything work just fine. And I mean, again, you would need to do that for all your views. See, yeah, this one hasn't been touched yet. As far as when I click on the face, everything is inside the face, and really they should all be on their own separate layers, like I started to put here. So that I don't have to drill in and then, oh, it's locked, okay. So then I wouldn't have to drill in to get to the right body parts. I need them all unlocked and all layered. Excuse me. I need them all layered on the screen so that I can easily simply click on it, go into the eyebrows, and assign it a sprite. And I can't do that if it's all grouped like this. All of this facial expression should all be on the main layer, just like this particular, this partial character. You know, the front hair, they're all assigned. So if I only wanted to work with the front hair, they're all on the right layers for me to manipulate. So I think these are the main changes that will need to be made in order to get things really going. Let me just look at the outline and see how everything is. For the most part, the outline looks great. I'm going to assume that once the side views line up right on top of each other, you'll have a nice clean kind of circle like these are. And since your upper torso will be sitting in front of your lower torso, I don't think you would need to make any modifications. Sometimes you need to add that extra curve on the lower torso, so when the heat bends over, it doesn't look like his bottom just cuts off. It looks nice and round, like you're seeing part of his back or something bending. Uh, it may need to be added there. I didn't really test it out. But the fact that your character upper torso sits on top, you may be able to avoid doing that extra, doing that modification. So I think those are the changes. That's all the changes that need to be done for me to start being able to group this and get it going for you. And like I said, the end result is what you want here with Mike Head. You want them all nice and grouped up. Mike Head was a much simplified type character because he had no facial expressions. So those other pieces I didn't really have to go into much detail with. And since you have all of his main body parts on the top layer, it was much easier for me to start to go in and, you know, add the pivots and stuff and classify each body part so that Crazytalk Animator would know where each limb was inside the application. But the same thing would need to be done for C2. I think the necks and everything. You may have an issue with the neck. I'm looking at Mike Heads, and all of his necks, even though they're in different shapes, they kind of start and stop at the same point. So it makes it easy for me to put the pivots in when I add my guides in to make sure they're all lined up in the same point. So basically, when the body rotates, you don't want your head bouncing up or down during a rotation because the pivots are in different spots. You want them pretty much all at the same spot. I can definitely, it's a minor correction. If I need to make it, I'll let you know. It may be completely fine. I will still put the pivot, say like if it's the pivot's right here, even though the artwork or the sprite is down here, I can still put the pivot there and see if everything still syncs up, and it probably will. I'm just giving you a quick heads up that that was one of the things that I noticed. His neck is up here, down here, and then back up here at different angles. So I will go ahead and send this video over to you and let you start to make the modifications. And hopefully, I've been a little bit under the weather, but hopefully this weekend will be a better weekend that I can get this all, depending on how fast you can get this back to me, get this back to you, or at least get you to a point where I can show you your character in Crazytalk Animator, and hopefully we just have one or two minor modifications needed to complete this character up. So let me know if you have any questions. Those are the things that I would need you to address to get them going. Group the feet, group the rings and stuff all on the hand, group the watches and bracelets all on the forearm. you want to kind of get that facial layout that you did here on the 0 degree angle on the side view angle as well. And definitely work on the eye layering. You want to get it to the point. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. They have to be layered mask, pupil, and image layer. And it has to be typed exactly how you see it with a capital letter. That's how the system recognizes it. Let me see how each one works. Okay, well, that looks good. Pupil. Okay. One, two. Probably don't need three, um, unless you just want his eyes really low. I can add it in, but you may not need it. Um, Only these two should be locked. The last layer should never be locked. I think this actually will work. I don't know why I didn't notice it the first time. I will import it in and make sure the eyes move and stuff correctly. But I think you may have already nailed the eye piece. Um, yeah, I think you might have nailed it. So just get the writing correctly so that it's, what's that, mask, pupil, and image layer with a capital M, capital P, and a capital I, because it just acts weird when it's not labeled the exact same way that the template is provided. And that should go in great. So I will send this file over to you, let you make the modifications, and like I said, if you can, I'm not going to rush you or anything, but if you can get it back to me before the earlier part of the weekend, that'll be great, and I will um, see if I can work on this file this weekend and get it back to you, or at least give you a follow-up video on Sunday, and we can go from there. All right, take care.